Get ready, racing fans! The most electrifying week in motorsports is back! October 6th to 11th, Oswego Speedway transforms into the Clay Palace, the ultimate battleground for Super Dirt Week. From the thrilling races to the electrifying atmosphere, it's more than a race. It's racing's biggest party. Don't miss out. Super Dirt Week 2025, October 6th through the 11th.
For your own safety.
Steve, what's up?
Congrats on the win.
Thanks, Steve. Where Paulie at?
Here we go.
I'm checking out. I will respond to you, but I'm done for the week. I'm done. How are you today?
Good. How are you?
I'm great. So, my apologies for being late.
I made it.
Yeah, well, good for you. Good for you. Good for you. Good for you.
Check for sound.
Pleasure to be on there talking with Paulie, man. He's a good dude.
I'm an idiot.
I'll just shut up and let you talk.
Thank you.
I was trying to help.
And shout out to Tupac. 3, 2, 1, and
This is Orange Nation.
Well, hello, Paulie and Steve.
With Stephen Fonte and Paulie Sibilia.
Check the rock. Good afternoon, everyone. Paulie Sibilia is back. Stephen Paulie with you up until 2 o'clock here on a Wednesday. We've got David Teal, columnist for the Daily Press, covers the ACC and specifically Virginia Tech football for the Daily Press. He'll join us at 12:30. We'll talk about the coaching search. We'll talk ACC football as a whole. Coming up at 1 o'clock, we will be joined by Will Vandervort, senior writer for Clemson Insider.
I'm back.
You are back. I missed that. I missed being distracted while I was trying to talk while you were gone. We'll talk Clemson football coming up at 1 o'clock. Plus, we'll mix in your phone calls throughout at 315-437-7644. And apparently we're doing our keys to the game as I look at our rundown. 1:30, keys to the game on a Wednesday.
Do you think Syracuse needs to keep this within the spread of, what is it, 18, 19?
17 and a half. I think it opened at. Is it up now? Is it up to 18? What do you mean need to?
I think they need to.
Need to
keep this. You can't.
For who? For the
themselves.
fans? For themselves?
Yeah.
Like need to, like.
Because Clemson hasn't been able to do much offensively, right, against teams. Syracuse's defense needs to be able to slow them down a little bit. If Troy can keep them off the scoreboard for a half, Syracuse should probably be able to keep them at a low score. You have to be able to.
Yeah, I mean, do they need to beat the spread? I think they will beat the spread.
Yeah.
I think this game's going to be competitive. I do. I think this game's going to be competitive. Everything you just said, this Clemson offense has not looked good. Even against Troy, they struggled. They got their act together in the second half, in part because of a big defensive play helped turn the tide in that game. But offensively, they have struggled. And, this might be a game that the first one to 27 or 28 wins the game. And I think we saw against Tennessee, Syracuse is capable of scoring 28 points against a good team and a good defense. Now, Clemson might have the best front four / front seven that they're going to see all season long. Tennessee's was pretty good, though, and I think we saw Tennessee as a playoff caliber team. Clemson probably is a playoff caliber roster, but they haven't played like a playoff caliber team yet. So, this could be the week Clemson figures it out and they blow them out.
You don't want that.
That's possible. But it's also possible that they're a little hungover from losing a conference game and being 1-2 and still trying to figure things out. And if that's the case, Syracuse hangs around.
Now, also in retrospect, we're looking at the schedule, and we all talked about how difficult it's going to be. Duke's struggling. I thought Duke was going to be halfway decent. They got the Tulane quarterback and then lost to Tulane.
How motivated was Tulane for that game, right?
Yeah, but I don't know. Do I think Syracuse can win the game? I don't know this year, but I think they got to keep it close. You got to go in and you can't be the team Clemson figures it out against, right?
Well, I'm not sure. I was going to say I'm not sure SU has a say in that.
Yeah,
SU has a say in it in terms of they're going out there and they're going to try to the SU defense is going to try to keep Clemson in check, but sooner or later those playmakers and that offense is going to break out, and it's not really going to matter who the opponent is. It's just going to click for them.
I don't know. I think they're struggling. They struggle every year. It feels like the past 3 years.
Going into the season though, Cade Klubnik was among the Heisman frontrunners. He didn't just all of a sudden forget how to be a quarterback. He has not looked good through the first 3 games. Sooner or later, he's going to look like a Heisman-type quarterback again, and I don't think it's going to matter necessarily who the opponent is. You hope that it's not this week for Syracuse's sake. And, yes, they, of course, have a hand in it, in terms of, the different pressures they dial up and scheme and how they go about attacking it. But, some of this is just Clemson is not playing like Clemson is capable of playing. And as we said on the show yesterday, if Clemson plays its A game or B game this week, I don't think it's going to matter how well Syracuse plays. I think a B game or an A game from Clemson is going to be a Clemson win. If they keep playing like the C level like they have been, I think Syracuse could steal one.
You want to hear Dabo Swinney ranting about the start?
I heard a lot of Dabo yesterday, but go ahead. Yes.
It's
not on the show. I heard him at Channel 9.
I know, but yes. it's a common trend. We
If they want me gone, if they tired of winning, they can send me on their way because that's all we've done is win. So if they tired of winning, we've won this league 8 out of the last 10 years. Is that not good? I don't know if that's good or not. To win your league 8 out of 10 years, to go to the playoffs 7 out of 10 years, to be in 4 national championships, win it twice. Yeah, we're a little down right now. Take your shots, but I got a long memory in case y'all don't know. We'll be all right. We'll bounce back. This is a program built to last. Always has been. Always will be. And hey, listen, if Clemson's tired of winning, they send me on my way, but I'm going to go somewhere else and coach. I ain't going to the beach. Hell, I'm 55. I got a long way to go. Y'all going to have to deal with me for a while. I got a long way to go. I'm just getting going. I'm just now good enough to be a head coach. I'm just now figuring it out. So we'll be around a while. Let's hang in there.
It's funny in our chat, LA Orange says he's in Boeheim mode here. Love it. And as I was listening to that, I kind of got the Boeheim vibes from towards the end of his tenure. Because again, if you look at the track record speaks for itself, right? And I get that people are upset.
Boeheim wasn't 55 though.
Well, okay, that's fair. But even more so, the track record speaks. He's talking about 10 years. Boeheim could look at 40 years and say, look at what we've done for 40 years. So
Dabo's also got this though. Like, you know what? I'll go coach Duke and kick your ass every year.
It's never enough for fan bases, right? You always want it to be at the highest level for as long as it can be, and then when it dips, people are upset, and dips are going to happen. There are going to be peaks and valleys, and right now Clemson seems to be in a little bit of a valley, and it's Dabo's job to dig him out of it. And if he can't, or if he doesn't want to anymore, then he goes somewhere else. But while he's there, I still think he's among the best coaches in the country. They've had a little bit of a different philosophy around the portal, and he was he took a lot of criticism last year for it, that they weren't as active in the portal. They were trying to build from the bottom up and through their pipeline, and freshmen become sophomores and then juniors and seniors, opposed to going in and getting their key players out of the portal like so many programs are doing. And I think slowly he's kind of coming around to they definitely had more portal entries this year than they did last year. But they're in a little bit of a rut right now, and they do not look like the dominant Clemson team that we were expecting coming into the year.
They can still end up in the ACC championship game in the playoff. It's a much harder route.
They could. We were looking at it a little bit yesterday. The fact that they lost to Georgia Tech, I don't know if you've looked at Georgia Tech's schedule, but Georgia Tech has a pretty about as easy as it comes from a scheduling perspective, and they hold the tiebreaker. So Miami looks like the cream of the crop right now.
Miami does every year. They usually lose a game or two that they shouldn't.
So here's the thing. Is the ACC title game off the table for Clemson? No. But they're going to have to run the table now, which is hard, and they're going to need some help along the way at some point from somebody. And it's there's too many scenarios right now. There's like 7 undefeated teams in conference or whatever it is. They're going to need some help along the way. So is it possible? Of course it's possible. But that loss to Georgia Tech, I think, is going to hurt them, because the closer you look at the Georgia Tech schedule, Georgia Tech might be in the inside track right now to make the ACC title game. And I realize it's super early, but They have a lot of
They'll
games.
stub their toe.
They have a lot of games that they're favored in the rest of the way.
Georgia Tech will lose a game it shouldn't. Miami will lose a game it should. Do you think anybody's going undefeated? Miami, maybe?
I think Miami may. Miami's toughest game, on paper anyway, in conference looks to be the Louisville game. I think Miami's got a really strong case to go undefeated.
Georgia Tech, Temple, Wake, Virginia Tech, Duke.
Miami does have
Syracuse.
Florida State, so they've got Florida. Miami's got Florida State this week. That might be, if they get by Florida State, I think they're probably going to run the table.
I think NC State might finally be NC State. We'll see. Everybody every year thinks, oh yeah, don't sleep on NC State this year. Everybody was like, well, they're not going to be good, so maybe they'll be good this year.
Yeah, Michael Antonio says it might be Miami, Georgia Tech for the conference title. If you ask me to pick today, I think that's the matchup I'm picking. Because, and again, this game, Miami, Florida State this week is going to tell us a lot. But assuming Miami wins that game, I think Miami's running the table from there. And you just brought up the Georgia Tech schedule. The Georgia Tech schedule is, I never want to say easy in conference, but it's about as easy as it comes.
Everybody seemed to think Syracuse's schedule was easy last year.
And you remember last year, I said, it's less difficult. Like that was the term I like to use. I don't like to say easy, but I think they have the about as, in terms of the strength of difficulty, it's low on the scale the rest of the way for the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets.
Is it true, Steve, that the show was peaceful yesterday and the show would be much better without me?
The first part was definitely true. I don't know about the second part. I love working with you, Paulie, but there was a certain peace and harmony yesterday.
Good.
There was a certain harmony yesterday.
We all got to say what we wanted, and nobody yelled at me. Everything was so great. I could spew my nonsense, and nobody told me I was stupid. How are you, Steve? How was your night? I didn't even ask you.
I'm doing fine.
How'd you sleep?
I slept awful, as a matter of fact.
I'm sorry to hear that, pal.
How are you feeling, more
I am
importantly?
great. I had a really bad sore throat a couple days ago. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was just the air conditioning, allergies, virus, but I'm fine now.
I mean, you sound good. See,
Thanks.
that's the difference between us, or one of the differences, is when I start to lose my voice, it starts to go, I can't stop it.
Yeah,
it just disappears. You, it seems like you were starting to lose it, but you got it right back. So good for you.
L.A. Orange says you can listen to the rebroadcast of yesterday's show if you're having trouble sleeping. That's a compliment to me. That was a backhanded slap to all you boring people.
That's really funny.
I can tell you this, that my voice was a little weak yesterday. I couldn't talk like full sentences without, like, I sounded winded.
Right. And that's what I'm saying, is like when that happens to my voice, I can't bring it back. It has to go and then it has to come back. You were able to salvage it. You sound good today.
Yeah,
so.
I'm a man, Steve. I recuperate.
It has nothing to do with being a man or not, Paulie.
I don't know if I've ever told you this. There's a difference between you and I.
You played with G.I. Joe. I'm aware.
And you played with Smurfs. Thank you.
I didn't play with Smurfs.
You watched the Smurfs.
You asked me if I watched the Smurfs, and I said I did.
You watched the Smurfs, and I watched
did not
G.I.
play
Joe.
with Smurfs.
That's why my voice comes back quicker than yours.
Okay, Paulie. Yes, I missed this yesterday so much.
Right, so
I missed this so much.
I want to hit on something. I got tested for COVID. It was not COVID.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you. And then I stayed out a day because my throat was a little weak, and I didn't want to be extra germy.
I appreciate that as well. Thank you for that.
I'm sure I'm still contagious, but
talk in that direction. 315-437-7644 is the number if you'd like to check in. We're going to take our first time out. We've got David Teal set to join us at about 12:30. We're back after this on ESPN Radio.
Point Guard Advisors and Burdick Ford are proud supporters of game day radio coverage of Syracuse football. We are the pulse of the orange. ESPN Radio 97.7 and 100.1.
At William Attar, we're not just lawyers. We're part of the community.
I am the It Factor.
We know the road.
You're damn right. It Factor. That's my middle name, It Factor. Did you know that? Polly It Factor?
I didn't.
No, you're stupid even when you're right. It's not exclusive. Tronic, I used to light my G.I. Joe and Army Men on fire, and Steve thinks that's weird. No. How can they experience napalm if there's no fire? Right, Steve?
Yeah.
I'm the shit factor? Thanks. That's a funny joke. I'm shit. I am a narcissist, and I'm also a serial killer. Thanks, Zach. Why did you sleep bad?
I don't know. I just did. I had trouble getting to sleep. I woke up I've been up since like 4:45. I couldn't fall back asleep. It was a rough night. A lot on my mind, Paulie. A lot on my mind. I was wondering. I was like, is Paulie coming back today?
By the way, I vetoed the artist of the day.
What was it?
Jonas Brothers.
Oh, why?
I'm an evil narcissist dictator. I couldn't find a reason why you guys voted for them.
It was on the list. I don't know. Tim did the list. He gave us like 5. That was what we picked. So what did we pick?
Howard Jones. Steve is not overpaid. How dare you? Steve is underpaid. Correct. Things could only get better. That's what people were singing yesterday. He's highly paid at TV. He's underpaid here.
Thank you. Thanks for calling me bland, Philly. I appreciate that.
I don't think that's the first time or worst thing you could be called. I am. I'm an evil, narcissist, dictator, serial killer.
Thanks, Kev.
Yeah, I lucked into my job. Someone on Twitter said that the other day, that I was handed my job. Imagine thinking people get handed jobs. Like I was walking down the street and you look like you could host a radio show. Let me give you this job. I am the tomato sauce. I don't even know what the hell that means. That was pretty tight for me with the artist of the day there. I overrode Jonas Brothers.
So this is not Jonas Brothers, Paul.
No, yeah, I'm an evil, narcissist, dictator, serial killer, according to the chat, so might as well be one. I picked Howard Jones because I found that he released his first single on this day.
Howard Jones wasn't even an option for us yesterday.
Yeah, he must be at a different website that's from within the past 2 decades. And that's not fun to me. This is about me, Steve. I don't know if you know this.
Oh, I do. I listen to the open of the show every day.
You had 2 days of you. Now it's me again.
No, I wasn't here Monday. I just said yesterday. My break from you was yesterday.
You had 2 days off.
Well, from you, but I was not.
How did your charity event go?
It was great. It was great. Yeah,
Good,
I'll tell you about it in the next commercial break. But no, it was really good. Really good turnout, a lot of money raised, all that good stuff. That's why we were there.
That's what you want.
That's right.
From a charity
the
event.
most ever for that. It was the 7th year of that event.
Is it because you were hosting?
No. I've done all 7 years.
Oh.
No, it just so happens it was the most money they raised. So, Scooter in Jamesville kicking us off today. Hey, Scooter.
I tell you guys, I'm a little disappointed in your introduction because I swear, Polly, I thought you would sneak in the Christmas being celebrating Canada thing. I thought that'd be part of your intro. But a little disappointed.
No, I'd rather point out that he's late for work.
Yeah. And the other one was I still remember you talking about dragging a surfboard along for Halloween. You wanted candy so badly you're willing to drag a surfboard. That was pretty funny. A couple things. By the way, Paul, I hope you took my advice and paid off your gym membership because my lock was went through. So I hope you paid it off your gym membership. So you're good. Swinney reminds me of a CEO type of coach. All right, he needs offensive coordinators. How many offensive coordinators he's had in the last 3 years or 4? And when they was winning championships, those weren't the offensive defensive coordinators. He looks more on the sideline like a Rex Ryan or somebody like that, where he's got good offensive defensive coordinators. And to me personally, I would never hire a defensive coordinator. That's what's great about Fran Brown. He's given the offense to Jeff Nixon. Just get out of the way because defensive coordinators and head coaches seem to have this false sense of security on their defense. We're going to punt the ball away and we're going to play defense and we're going to be conservative. And that's not today's football. So I'd be interested to see how hands-on he really is because I think this is their third offensive coordinator in 4 years, I think. I know White went to Virginia, and then the defensive coordinator, I think, is coaching Oklahoma right now.
That's right.
And so, but I think I remember that the next offensive coordinator was a former cornerback, Streeter. I think it lasted a year, and so they might be the third up. But it's just to me, that's why coordinators are tough if they're going to be just a CEO type of guy and stuff. And I don't know if you guys have talked about it, but this is classic college football. The Tulane Duke game, guys, right? Duke poaches Tulane's quarterback for about $8 million. Tulane goes and beats Duke. So all that money spent on the quarterback from Tulane to go to Duke, it didn't work out against Tulane. I think that was classic. So there's your $8 million quarterback, and they can't beat the team that they actually poached him from.
Yeah, we were talking about that yesterday, Scooter. Appreciate you checking in. That Tulane was obviously highly motivated to win that game. There were a couple other Duke-Tulane connections in that game, and Tulane played great, played inspired, and knocked off the Blue Devils, who, again, you said going into the year, I think a lot of us thought that Duke was going to be better this year, and they may still end up being better than they've been. Everybody trips up and stubs their toes sometimes, but it was they fell victim to a very inspired team.
It made the game look more tossy-uppy, as I like to say.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point.
Pitt lost.
Yes,
and everybody had them.
SMU lost. So I mean, there's. The schedule appears to be a little bit more doable. Here's the thing, though. The games that, the teams may not look as daunting anymore, they're still away, and they're still against teams that on paper are probably better than you.
I'm going to say something, like what you just said. This team is still young and talented, but you've got to play together a year to get, maybe by the end of the year they'll figure it out. Clemson this week is not what you want. But you hope you can cover. You hope you can win. But it's.
Well, I guess that's kind of what I was going at with the your statement at the beginning about they need to cover, right? And I think they don't. That's what I'm saying. Like who are you saying? Like who do you need it for? Because I don't think you need it because the team's not looking to cover. Team's looking to win. Yeah. If they lose this game by 4, they're still going to look at it as that was a disappointment, that was a missed opportunity, whatever the case may be. The fan base might look at it and be like, oh, they only lost to Clemson by 4 in Death Valley. I think the team, I don't want to say needs to win this game because, I mean, this is going to be a tough task, but the team is very much going there to win the game. I don't think there's certainly no moral victories with this. Like, if they lose by a field goal, it's going to be gut-wrenching. It's not going to be like, oh, look at us. It was a positive development that they only lost by 3.
Yeah, you say you can hang with Clemson, but then you're worried about the rest. I said, no, I hope they cover. Covering isn't hanging with them. with the point spread it is right now. So
yeah, and I want to get back to something Scooter said too about the coordinators and how important they are. I don't think there's any question about that. And we spent a lot of time yesterday talking about Jeff Nixon, and I think if Syracuse continues to have a good year, and if Steve Angeli continues to be among the national leaders in passing, we're going to talk about this more and more, that sometimes it's difficult to replace the offensive or defensive coordinator. And if Jeff Nixon gets a head coaching job somewhere, that's going to be a big loss for Fran Brown and this team. Can Fran figure it out? I feel like there's nothing Fran can't figure out. I think that's what we've learned the last, year and a half. But people are worried about Fran leaving. I think right now you need to be worried about Jeff Nixon leaving and potentially taking a head coaching job somewhere, because he's got this offense very difficult to defend. It's we had Julian Wiggum on our show last night on the TV side of things, and he talked about how it's a quarterback-friendly offense. If Steve Angeli has a lot of success this year, think about the recruiting pitch that you can give to quarterbacks moving forward here. Like the Kyle McCord thing was not a fluke.
It's so weird to see that he's leading, the nation, because we're literally taking calls that he should be benched.
Yeah, I mean, it is interesting. I think you look at the games, right? So the kind of Tennessee game.
Is it possible to be that good and ugly at the same time?
I mean, I think everybody always wants to see the backup quarterback. And when things are not going super smoothly, the inclination by fans is, well, let's see what the backup has. Hopefully now after Colgate, all that talk can die down, because Angeli was awesome. And Ricky Collins on his first possession threw a bad interception. And I know it was just one pick. And again, I said this yesterday. He's a talented kid, but I think that we are seeing that there is a definitive starter for this team. It is Steve Angeli. It's his team, and they're going to go as far as he takes them this year. And, Ricky Collins may play, and it may be mop-up duty. It may be because of an injury here and there. It might be I don't think they're going to put him in for lack of effectiveness from Steve Angeli, unless it's like a Pittsburgh game from last year where McCord threw 5 picks and, the game was over. If they are still within striking distance, I think Steve Angeli's the guy, and I think we saw that against UConn. They hung with him, eventually got it going, and he has put up gaudy numbers, and that's a testament to Steve Angeli. But I think maybe even more so, it might be a testament to Jeff Nixon.
How do you think if they don't cover against Clemson, what do you think the turnout would be for a Duke game at noon on a Saturday? Do you think we're going to get 35, 38, no matter what?
Yes, I think so, because it's Parents' Weekend.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and tickets are going fast, and there's not a lot available right now because all the parents are going to be in town. So, yeah, I think they're going to have a good crowd for Duke regardless. But my hope is that fans look at this logically, right? That if they lose this game, like, throw a score out. Like, what do you, 38-20? That's not covering the spread, right? They lose by 18. If they lose 38-20, it's Clemson. It's, they came into the year as like a top 5 team, number 4 in the country or whatever they were. We had multiple guests think they were going to win the national title, and I know that they've gotten off to a slow start, but, as Dabo said yesterday, they don't call the game after the first quarter. They don't cancel the season after your first 3 games.
Good thing they would have lost to Troy.
Yeah. So, sooner or later, Clemson is going to start playing like Clemson. And I know we said it last year about Florida State. I think this is a different circumstance. We've seen Clemson get off the slow starts before. Tim Leonard pointed out to us that you have to go all the way back to 2014 to see the last time that Clemson started like this, and they still finished 10-3. 2021, they won their last 6 games to finish 10-3. 2023 is the last time in the last 14 years that they finished below 10 wins. They went 9-4. Last year they lost to Georgia, Louisville, South Carolina. They still finished 10-3. They still made the playoffs. They got in because Syracuse beat Miami. They got into the ACC title game. They won the ACC title game. So, this has happened before to Clemson, and they still end up winning, 9, 10, 11 games. They're not going to win 11 games this year in the regular season, but it's still possible for them to go on a run here. It's still possible for them to finish 10-2 and to make the ACC title game, and it's still possible to make it to the college football playoffs.
Can Syracuse win this game, Steve?
Can they? I think they can. Yes, because I think Clemson has struggled enough on offense that, and we've seen Syracuse can move the ball against anyone. Moving the ball hasn't been the problem. They struggled against UConn, I know, first 3 quarters, but Steve Angeli it seems like he's getting better. The second half against Tennessee, the fourth quarter in overtime against UConn, and then against Colgate, he was on point. If again, this is start number 4 now this season, start number 5 of his career. I think they're going to be able to move the ball and score points. If they can get to 27, 28 points, I think they can keep Clemson below that. I think they can win the game with 27, 28, 30 points.
All right, we got David Teal coming up. Steve, you know what I want to ask him? Maybe you can ask for him because you do all the interviews. Is Virginia Tech still a good gig?
I'm sure he'll have a good answer for that. That's a good question.
Thank you.
All right, let's.
I asked you the question. You can ask.
Okay.
I need a break. I've been sick. I'm trying to get
protecting your voice. I
trying to
understand
get back into game shape.
All right, let's hit a timeout here. David Teal, columnist for the Daily Press, joins us next on ESPN Radio.
Game shape is being able to talk for 5 minutes in a row. Apparently, Clemson needs to be punched in the mouth, Steve. Multiple people have said that. The old punch him in the mouth early. Stagger him. Make him punch drunk. Not taking your weird placebo. Your weird witchcraft. My doctor told me to stop taking cough medicine and like cold medicine for my cold.
Yeah, it
because it's bad.
Bad.
They recommend you don't take like antihistamines and stuff.
For your voice, you're saying?
No, for cold.
What? Why? What's the? I know for your voice you're not supposed to take because it dries you out. But what?
I guess that's what it was. Just like it doesn't do what they thought it did. Because I did like a video call with him just to make sure I could come back and I give everybody. And he's like, I told him I was taking Dayquil and Nyquil, and he made this face. I go, what the hell's that face about? He goes, yeah, you should take it. Drink lukewarm mayo.
That's gross.
Nuke it for about 30 seconds. Thank you, Wasabi Dude. I'm all over commercials all of a sudden. I'm doing this one. I cut a new Pawn Pro today. Is that true, Steve? If I tape an upside down tampon to my head? I'll wear that to the Clemson game so I don't spread germs. I can take it, guys. You guys can make fun of me. Philly's Most Wanted. I can actually tell you that I know somebody whose kid is being recruited by a Division I football program, and the school they're leaning toward was because the coach, not the package. Now that might change, but is it possible that Clemson is not that good? Let's hope so. Right? I tend to doubt that. Welcome back to Orange Nation, Artist of the Day, because I said so, Howard Jones. Things can only get better, Steve. I would assume the Clemson fans are hoping that things can only get better.
You would expect that things will get better for the Clemson Tigers, just hopefully not this weekend against the Orange, as we go to our guest line and bring on, as promised, David Teal, columnist for the Daily Press. David, we'll get into Clemson, we'll get into Syracuse here coming up, but I know you do quite a bit of coverage with Virginia Tech. Let's talk about Saturday and that dominant performance that Old Dominion put on the Hokies. As you were watching that game, did you know what the end result was going to be with the head coaching situation, or did that catch you a little bit by surprise that they pulled the plug this early in the season?
Not in the least surprised. That's how jarring. Not only Saturday night, the previous Saturday night, guys. You put together the second half of Vanderbilt and the first half of Old Dominion, and Virginia Tech was outscored at home 62-0 over 4 quarters.
Yeah. So how does that happen? How did that happen to this program?
It's remarkable, and that it happened to a head coach who is a defensive guy,
right?
Who was the DC at Penn State under James Franklin and also at Vanderbilt, and who in the offseason fired his defensive coordinator and hired one from the NFL in Sam Seifkes, who he said was going to improve the defense. And it hasn't happened, and everyone knew that Brent Pry's seat was very warm coming into the season. And to start off, not only 0-3, it's not just losing, it's how you lose. And those 4 quarters it made it impossible for Virginia Tech to just continue to trot out the same product and expect its paying customers to keep anteing up for it.
My co-host here, Paulie, asked me a question in the last segment, and I'm going to ask it to you, and I'm going to word it the way he worded it. Is Virginia Tech still a good gig, is how he put it?
It can be. And I think we're going to find out just how good a gig it might be within the next 2 weeks, because that is when the Virginia Tech Board of Visitors is going to vote upon a new structure for the football program and the athletic department that includes increased funding and a reorganization that I believe will include a football general manager. And I believe that plan is going to include numbers in terms of financial commitment, and that is going to determine Virginia Tech's coaching pool and where it can essentially go fishing for the next head coach. I don't know what that number is, but man, I sure am curious to find out. And I'll tell you who else is. Prospective coaches, prospective general managers, prospective recruits, and all their agents. And if Virginia Tech puts out a number that is serious and people think, Virginia Tech's open for business, then they've got a chance. If they don't put out that kind of number, then it's going to be more of the same.
In terms of the timing of the announcement, was it just a case of it was so bad that the administration couldn't ignore it anymore? Was it directed at the fans, like, we know this is unacceptable, so we're gonna make this move now? Because again, the reality is they're not going to have their new head coach until after the season, right? I mean, they can't pluck somebody right now, right? I mean, I would assume that they'll play it out the way that it is and then pluck somebody after the season, or you think they might make a move sooner rather than later?
Well, I think most likely they hire somebody in late November, early December.
Right. Okay.
But if you settle on a coach who's not currently working, nothing would stop you from hiring him now. Not right now, but say in mid or late October. And there are candidates out there who do not currently have a team.
Interesting. Okay, I've heard the name Michael Vick pop up. How real is that? Is that just people trying to recapture the glory days of when he was there, or is there some teeth behind that?
There are tensions behind that. Yeah, guys, it's no chance.
No chance. Okay.
Absolutely. He's been a head coach. Not only has he just been a head coach for 3 games, he's been a coach for 3 games.
Right.
This is not on-the-job training, not with the current state of the program. No, proven head coaching chops are absolutely non-negotiable here.
Do they have enough money to get someone like a Shane Beamer away from an SEC school?
I don't know if they have enough money to fish there, but Shane Beamer's not coming home to Virginia Tech. I spent some time in Columbia, South Carolina this summer. The Gamecocks have more resources. They have better facilities. They're in a better conference. And they were within a game of the college football playoff last year. Now, I know they had a bad night Saturday. But Shane Beamer's in a far better place right now in Columbia, South Carolina, where he has worked previously. It's his home. That's where he was born, in Charleston, South Carolina. And, he loves it there. And perhaps as important, his wife and children love it there. And in Columbia, South Carolina, guys, Coach Beamer is Shane. In Blacksburg, Virginia, Coach Beamer is Shane's daddy.
Yeah, right.
And always will be.
Right.
And I just don't think that he wants that kind of pressure.
Yeah, that's an interesting thought. Yeah, no, I get that. You say it's not on the job training at Virginia Tech. As we kind of switch gears here, I do want to ask you a little bit about Syracuse and Clemson and the ACC as a whole. Fran Brown didn't have any head coaching experience, and they pulled him away from Georgia, and it seemed like a risk at the time, right? Because John Wildhack, the AD here, had said that he wanted somebody with head coaching experience, and Fran Brown checked all of the boxes for the most part, except for that one. And John Wildhack went with him anyway, and he produced a 10-win season. He's got some excitement behind this program again. Just curious from the outside looking in, David, I know you cover the ACC as a whole. What are your thoughts about Fran Brown and where he has the Orange positioned right now?
Well, he couldn't have started off any better, and he couldn't have drawn a worse scheduling hand
right.
in year two. I mean, holy smokes, guys. I mean, and your listeners know. I mean, you're going on the road to play all these CFP teams from last year, and by the way, you also got to go to Miami and Georgia Tech. I mean, wow.
Yeah.
But what he's done so far is beyond impressive. And again, as you guys can appreciate, what do we guys in the media yearn for more than anything else?
Somebody who's real and transparent, I would say, is
right. And
yeah.
Fran Brown is content gold.
Yes.
And God bless him for it. And I hope he continues to succeed because he sure is fun to have around.
Yeah, for sure. No doubt about that. All right, let's talk about the head coach of the Clemson Tigers. And we played a comment from Dabo just before you came on where I'm sure you heard it, yesterday, basically saying, listen, if you want me fired, fire me. Or, if you don't want me here anymore, 8 conference titles in 10 years, that's not bad, folks. What do you make of the struggles that he, I say struggles, but, struggles by Clemson standards? What do you make of what he and that program are going through right now?
Well, they can't get the offense right, or haven't gotten the offense right. I was in Death Valley for the season opener against LSU, and I forget what that loss made Clemson's record against the SEC in the last 3 or 4 years, but it's not pretty.
Yeah.
And a writer asked Dabo about it post-game, and he was his typically thin-skinned self. And that's just the way he's wired. And, he did it a couple of years ago, and the now infamous Tyler from Spartanburg called the coach's show and railed on him. And that's how Dabo motivates himself. It's how he motivates his team. But Kate Klubnik is not performing. And that offensive line that Dabo raved about during the offseason is not performing. And that's on him and his staff. And yes, they have lost to 2 quality teams. But you go back, in the last 3 years, Clemson has lost season openers to Duke, LSU, and Georgia. Again, and Duke was really good when Clemson lost to them in the opener. But in those 3 games, scored a grand total of 10 points.
Wow. Yeah.
I mean, you got to have your team better prepared than that, guys.
Yeah. Yeah, and we've seen Clemson do this before, right? I mean, they've gotten off to slow starts before, and yet they always somehow figure out a way to still win, 9-10 games and be in the mix.
Mm-hmm.
And last year was a good example. They lost 3 games during the regular season. They still found themselves in the ACC title game. They still made it to the college football playoff. But there's also the flip side of that, like a Florida State team last year with high expectations, and things started to go south, and then they couldn't get it back on track. What do you think happens from here this season for this Clemson Tigers team? And we're specifically looking at this Saturday. Do they come into Saturday with a hangover, like woe is us, we're 1-2, we lost our conference opener, or do you think you get a laser focused Clemson team, like we're going to get back on track and we're going to run the table here?
I think you get angry Clemson on Saturday, and I know that's the last thing you want to hear, but that would be my hunch. And I would just be – that's been their MO of late. I would be surprised otherwise. I think they will eventually get it figured out. I know, by the way, guys, I stand corrected. They've scored a grand total of 20 points in those 3 season openers. The point still stands.
Yeah, right.
Misspoke on
still a valid point.
Yes. Oh, it's 100% valid now.
Yeah, no doubt. ACC as a whole, David, as long as we got you here, you look at Miami, looks very, very impressive. Florida State had a really nice, early season win. Some of these middle-of-the-road teams that we thought were going to be better, like, SMU, Duke, Pittsburgh, they're not quite maybe what we thought they were going to be. What do you make of the conference as a whole? And if you had to pick your 2 participants in the ACC title game today, who would that be?
I would lean Miami and Georgia Tech.
Yeah, all right. We said the same thing. Yeah, Georgia Tech's schedule is Georgia Tech's schedule is very.
That means we're wrong.
Right, exactly. Yeah. No, we looked at Georgia Tech's schedule, and man, it's I don't want to say easy, but it's less challenging than most. Let's put it that way.
And that scheduling draw didn't hurt SMU last year,
right?
And going 8-0 in the league right out of the chute as a first-year member and reaching Charlotte. And guys, we talked about Fran Brown coming in with no head coaching experience. Georgia Tech hit it with Brent Key.
Yep.
And really stumbled into him. He's the interim. You don't know what you're getting. And it was a September firing, just like we've witnessed at Virginia Tech and UCLA this week. And darn if he didn't turn it on a dime and earn a chance at the full-time gig, and he has continued to build on that. He found a dude at quarterback in Haynes King. And, that game on Saturday against Clemson, it was fun to watch, and the end was great. And you talk about that fire drill they ran at the end to get that field goal team on. You could tell this team has practice. They are buttoned up. They know exactly what they're doing, and that, my friends, is coaching.
Yeah. Yeah, I was surprised that they chose to handle it like that, but they executed it perfectly and won the game, and here they are with what seems like the inside track to the ACC title game. David, we very much appreciated your time. We've gone a little over with you here. We appreciate you giving us so much time. We look forward to doing this again, hopefully down the road.
Sure. Thanks for having me, guys.
All right, David Teal, columnist for the Daily Press.
It's a good get.
Yeah, great interview. We'll hit a timeout here.
Good job, Steve.
Good job, Paulie.
Thank you. I asked a question.
You did.
And you asked a question for me.
I know. You chimed in. I love when you chime in.
I'm a chimer.
Wrap
Steve,
up
I don't know if you know that about
next.
me. I love a good chime in.
And a charmer. You're a chimer and a charmer.
Yeah. People don't know this about me, but I love to chime in.
We'll get an update on the market next, and then we'll kick off hour number 2.
I might even chime in on that.
Clemson football.
Talk a little stocks with you if you want.
Back after this on ESPN Radio.
That's right, chiming in and circling games in my mind. I need a wind chime for on my deck. That'd be nice. And I know when my dead mom.
Yeah, and Cardinals.
Cardinals, yeah. I saw a Cardinal at the Onondaga Lake once.
Your mom was saying hi.
Popping in.
Yep.
Could have been any of the dead relatives, though.
Could have been.
My mom might have been. I don't want to see him. It could have been my grandma.
Right, yeah, there you go. Philly, I don't know why you're so upset, like offended that I said that. It's just my personal opinion. I just don't know that he's going to be a star at a Power 4 school. I think right now Sienna's a great fit for him. And I wouldn't exactly, like, Providence isn't Kentucky or Duke or North Carolina. That's all. And I know you said yesterday Syracuse didn't recruit him. Ryan told us that they definitely had conversation. He said they recruit him. I mean, how hard? I don't know. But Ryan we've had several interviews with Ryan over the last year. He said he was being recruited by them. They decided to go a different direction. So I don't know. I think he's a really good player. Do I think he's going to be a star at a Power 4 school? Or a top 3 player on a team? I don't know. It's just my opinion. I don't know that. He was an athlete of the week, LA Orange. Yes. So a few years ago now, but yeah.
Padres sent Michael King out to go through a batting practice for the Mets last
Philly, I didn't say that he couldn't start at a high major right away. I said I would be surprised. I think Sienna is a better fit for him. And again, Providence is different than. Do we agree that Providence is different than going to like the SEC or the ACC? I mean, so I don't know. You throwing Providence and saying that this proves I'm right. I don't know. Yeah, no, that's a fair point. I mean, they're not a bad program, but yes, okay. So Providence was going to start him, so that means okay. Then
Do we know if Providence was going to start?
I mean, that's what Philly's saying, that it may be true. I don't know. I just think that he's in a really good spot. Like, I wasn't taking a shot at the kid. I was saying, like, I think Sienna's a great fit for him. I think he could be an all-conference. What I said yesterday, if you remember, is I said I think he could be an all-conference player at Sienna. Do I think that he would go somewhere and make that kind of impact right away at a Power 4 school or at a high major? I don't know that. And you don't know that either. Like, whether you're a starter or not, like Benny Williams was a starter and he was awful. Chris Bell was a starter, he was awful. I don't know.
Here's the thing. If he is that good, he's going to end up somewhere else after 1 year at Siena. College sports has changed.
But I don't know that either. Like, he might stay. He might stay because he loves Jerry. He might stay. I think Philly brought up a good point yesterday about he probably follows Jerry wherever he goes.
If he's good.
But again, Jerry's not necessarily going to stay there either. Like, if they're that good, Jerry's moving on to something else.
But then he's leaving. It's the same thing.
Well, right. But he's following his coach. Like, I don't know that. I don't know that Ryan would necessarily leave just to leave or leave for more money.
Man, everybody's so angry today. Did I do this? Am I the cause?
I think he's a very good player. I think he's in a great spot.
Did I do that?
That was my point of what I said yesterday. I think he's in a great spot. I think Jerry and Sienna is a great spot for him.
Welcome back to Orange Nation. Our artist of the day, Howard Jones. Is that the most simple name in music? Howard Jones.
It's right up there. Yeah.
Is there a John Smith? Let's go to Lee Baldwin.
You're the music guy, not me. Yes, let's talk about the market. Lee, how are you today?
Hey guys, how are you? We're kind of mixed today. The Nasdaq's down just a little. The Dow is up just a little as we wait for the Fed announcement on interest rates at 2 o'clock today. Our diamond, though, goes to Lyft, which is up 13%, and that's on a deal with Waymo in Nashville. I'm guessing to transport all the bridal parties around the city. And our dog is StubHub. They went public today, but without the corresponding pop, the shares are just down about 10 cents. No tears. They're still valued at about $8 billion as of today.
All right, Lee. As always, we appreciate the time. We appreciate the update. Enjoy the rest of your week.
You got it. Thanks, guys.
All right, Lee Baldwin. All the diamonds, none of the dogs. Visit LeeBaldwin.com.
I have some serious nonsense to throw at you right now, Steve, before we go to our next guest.
All right, what do you got?
I need your help.
Okay.
I am leaving for Clemson tomorrow.
Okay.
And I needed an emergency dog sitter.
Okay.
And I've asked Paul.
Oh, no.
Okay,
is that smart?
I don't know.
He would be low on my list. I like Paul. Had him in class. I think he's a great guy. I don't know that I would put him in charge of another human. He's not a human. Another living thing. Yes.
Oh, now you got me worried.
I'm sorry.
He's staying at my house.
It'll be okay. It'll be okay. You might want to check on him now and then, though. Like call and ask if everything's okay. Maybe FaceTime him. Make sure Indy's doing all right.
You can't tie his shoes. Jen says.
That is a bold choice.
I needed somebody I know that would be able to stay.
All right. Well,
I didn't want to put you out.
I would have done it for you. We're friends.
Yeah, I know, but I wanted somebody. I just wanted someone to stay at my house because Indy then wouldn't have to get used to a new environment.
Okay.
My sister can't do it. I feel like I've made a horrible mistake. Yeah, I told Kev or Paul no parties, and he said he was going to invite the chat over for a watch party to watch the watch party on my chat. Speaking of watch parties, there's going to be one at Shaughnessy's this week, right? Well, I want to get a little inside softball or whatever the hell the kids are calling it. Inside baseball. Yeah, whatever. The kids. Softball. Yeah, it's a local beer league. You know, everybody's like, oh, I can't believe this person got fired, that person got fired, you're doing this, not paying this person. You know what? We're having a watch party at Shaughnessy's this weekend. You know how you can stop things like that from happening? Is actually come out and support Q Sports Talk and Gio and Mike McAllister. Come on out, buy some beers, have a Labatt, and enjoy the game at Shaughnessy's. And then I won't get fired if you do things like that, because then they can pay me.
And it's pretty much an all-day thing, right? 9 a.m. and goes through the entire game, and then
Gates
post-game as well.
Open at 9.
Yeah.
Pre-game at 10. Goes all the way through post-game.
Yeah. Excellent.
But you know, Steve, that it's a watch party. So you can go watch and party at the same time.
Yeah. I'm aware.
Or you can watch at qsportstalk.com if you can't make it out.
Are you doing a show tomorrow, by the way? Are you staying through the show?
Yeah, I'll be here for the show tomorrow.
Okay.
I won't be here Friday.
Friday, right. We've already lined up Mario for Friday. So we're good there. Okay. Anything else before we get to our next guest?
Now I'm second guessing.
I love Paul. You asked my opinion. I don't know that Paul would be at the top of my list of having him take care of another living thing. I don't know. Like, I don't know who you're friends with.
I have no friends, Steve. And I like that. Oh, Katie would have been good.
Although it's a little bit of you're in a bind, though, for something like this. Yeah, why not ask Katie? She's probably out there today. She might be listening right now. Her desk is right near Q Sports Talk desk. Katie, if you're listening, come in here during the commercial break. Paulie has something to ask you, talk to you about.
I offered him $50.
For 3 days?
Yeah.
$50?
Yeah. Is that a lot?
No.
No?
For 3 days? He's going to be there for 3 days?
He's sleeping at my house. But you want me to give him like $150 a day? We're bros.
Okay.
If I that's the reason I asked somebody.
Okay, to save some money.
Yeah, I'm not. $50 is plenty.
All right. Maybe.
I'm feeding him.
I feel like we should put this on a poll. Is $50 for 3 days
for a
enough?
kid who works for me?
All right.
I'll stock the fridge.
I don't know. To me, that doesn't seem like nearly enough.
He's not doing anything except for
he's keeping your dog alive. That's big.
My dog would be alive if I filled his bowl and water bowl up and left him alone for 3 days. He's preventing my dog from crapping in the house is what
that's a big deal too. That's important.
50 days minimum, then I'm going to send him to a dog spa.
That's going to be way more. That's
fine.
It's probably over 100 per day.
Yeah, I would rather do that.
Okay.
I thought a friend.
I didn't mean to start. We've got a guest. I don't want to keep our guest waiting.
$50 for a friend is fine. He's going to eat. And
I would say for like a day or two, like a day, that would be fine.
So Thursday, Friday, I'll be back Saturday night. Leaving Friday.
I'd give him at least 100.
No.
I would. You asked my opinion.
$100. He's a friend.
Okay. He's still like going out of his way and like taking like if he's going to do it right, like you want him there multiple times throughout the day to take Indy out.
There.
Right, but he's not going to be there all day.
I'm not asking him
if he goes to work, he's going to go home, let the dog out, right? How often do you let Indy out during the day?
3 times.
Right. So he's got to go to the house 3 times, staying overnight. I mean, I don't know, I would say $100. At least. Yeah, I would agree. I think 100 is the low end. Wait,
no,
we can talk.
We're friends. I would do it for free for somebody.
For 3 days?
Yes.
All right, we got to take a timeout. Will Vandervort, senior writer for Clemson Insider, joins us next on ESPN Radio.
My liquor cabinet is open to him. So is all the beer in the fridge. I don't drink. I'm using my position of power inappropriately.
Bixby, why do you say Steve is cheap? Why am I cheap? I feel like I'm not cheap.
I don't know. I just think a friend would take 50. Like, if someone goes, hey, can you watch my dog for the weekend? I'll give you $50. I would literally say, no, I don't want your $50.
Well,
I literally watched my friend's dog in an emergency like 2 months ago.
For how many days?
I stayed there for 2 days. I stayed there.
Well, you're a good person.
So, not to tug at heartstrings.
Yeah, that. Well, go ahead. What were you
my mom's sister fell the other day and is now in rehab, and so my sister has her dog and my aunt's dog, and I didn't want to put a third dog on her platter.
That was kind of you to think of others.
Dude, I have an Atari, I have a Nintendo, I have a Sega, I have a PlayStation 4. I don't know. I wouldn't take $50. I'll leave them McDonald's gift cards too, I guess. How about 50 and 50 in gift cards?
What's the difference?
I don't know.
People forget they have gift cards. Just give them $100. Call it a day.
I was planning on it. I've got MLB TV. He's got everything. My sister's 18 years older than me.
Your sister's almost 70?
She's in her late 60s, yeah. No, if he touches my baseball cards, I will murder him. Paul's probably got roommates, and he's getting away from it. He's got a whole house to himself, video games. I got a laptop. He can sign me up for OnlyFans. He's not even really there for the weekend. He's there Thursday after 5 to Saturday after 5 because I'll be home late Saturday night.
Okay.
You act like I don't have tissues on my nightstand already. No, we're not in Los Angeles. I have to replace. I don't want him using my lotion. That's weird. Wow, he's going to go to town. No, I'm actually boring when it comes to that. Like, I'm not going. No. Yeah, like, I don't know. I would do it for a friend for free. Like, I don't get why I'm cheap. I'm just a better person than all of you. And I've been saying that for years. I went up and fist bumped your kid Saturday. That's probably where I got a cold from, his little booger eater hand.
Oh, Friday, you're saying? Yeah.
Yeah.
I was not there for that.
Yeah, you were.
I saw that.
You were doing your thing. We were making fun. Your wife and I were making fun of you having to stand in the sun, and you were going to melt.
I was prepping for the show with one Mike McAllister. All right, do we have him? Okay.
You all should, St. Paul. Call me that. You should all be like me. I am a martyr for this chat. I also hired him, so you should be thankful for that. Welcome back to Orange Nation. Life in One Day, Steve. Howard Jones Day.
All right.
His first single on this day.
As promised, we kick off hour number 2 by talking Clemson football. We bring on Will Vandervort, senior writer for Clemson Insider. Will, we appreciate you coming on. How are you today?
I'm doing well, guys. How are you doing?
We're doing great.
Will, I got a personal question to ask you first.
Go ahead, Paulie.
Okay.
I'm going down to Clemson this weekend. I got a dog, and I asked one of my coworkers to watch my dog for me and offered him $50 for 2 days. Is that not enough money?
$50 for 2 days. No, I would probably go a little bit more. I generally, when I go out of town and get somebody to watch my dogs, I generally will give them like $100 or $150, depending on how long I'm gone. If it's 3 days, I'll give them about, $150 or so.
All right, I'm cheap. I'll have to up it.
We said the same thing, Will. We told him $100. He was giving us pushback. We said a minimum of $100. He was giving us pushback. So, all right, thanks for chiming in on that. Let's start with Dabo's press conference yesterday, if we could. Lengthy. It went almost an hour, right? I mean, and a lot was covered in there. Specifically, he's talking about, listen, if people aren't happy with me, we won 8 conference titles in 10 years. I'll go coach somewhere else. What did you make of his frustration yesterday? What did you make of that press conference in general?
Well, first of all, let's start off. Every week, Dabo Swinney goes about an hour. It doesn't matter if they're playing Syracuse or Sisters of the Poor. He goes about an hour every week, which we do not mind at all in the Clemson media because you get a lot of content that way. Sure. But as far as his rant goes, he's kind of done that before. A couple of years ago, he did it with the Tyler from Spartanburg incident occurred, and Dabo, the rant yesterday wasn't as bad as that rant, but he likes to just kind of remind people that, hey, look, I am 55 years old. I'm the same age Nick Saban was when he started coaching at Alabama. And I've already won you 2 national championships. I'm way younger, so if you don't like what I've done, I can go somewhere else. and I'm going to go. In other words, he's saying, if I ever leave Clemson, I'm not leaving Clemson and retiring and going and getting on my lake. And he's like, I'm 55 years old. I still got some good years left in me. I want to go coach more. So you either like my way of doing things or I'll just go somewhere else. It's kind of what his message was. Not that I don't think Dabo is going to go anywhere, but I don't think he is. I think he's just letting Clemson people know, hey, look, you guys have had it really good for so long. I trust what I'm doing. I've done this before. And he even said before that long rant, he started off by saying, look, I've won you 2 national championships before. I'm going to win you some more. We're going to win. He said the program is, he says, we're going to win some more. He's like, I told you in 2008 when I got this job that we were going to win a national championship at Clemson. He's like, you guys laughed at me. You thought I was crazy. And he says, what did we do? We went and won 2 national championships. He could have won it a couple more times, he said. So he's like saying basically just trust what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. And so that's kind of what his message was yesterday. At least that's how I took it.
All right. And so with that in mind, what is the reaction from the fan base when he kind of goes off like this and reminds everyone like, okay, I delivered, I will deliver again? Does the fan base kind of roll their eyes or, is there still a strong portion of the fan base that's very much behind him?
It's about half and half. I think there is that side that really supports him, and Dabo can do no wrong, and they will follow behind Dabo. And then there's the other half, which is, they're frustrated, and they want him to hear their frustration. They don't want to hear they're 2 plays away. They know that. They're basically saying, we see that with our own eyes. They want to know how you're fixing it, And so that's kind of where they're at. So they just want Dabo to know they're frustrated. And I get that. I had some fans on my podcast last night I was doing, and they were talking about, hey, Will, is it wrong for me to feel frustrated that they're not getting those 2 plays, that this was a team we told was going to play for national championship possibility, and they haven't done anything? Am I wrong for feeling that way? And, of course, I told them no. You have every right to feel that way, and I think that's where some of the fans, their opinions lie right now.
All right, let's talk about the offense because that's been a big storyline down there, right? You come in with Cade Klubnik being a Heisman hopeful and maybe one of the Heisman favorites. He has not looked like it. The offense has not looked like it. What is the problem on that side of the ball? What has been the problem through 3 games?
Oh, man. Let's start off with Cade Klubnik. First of all, he's digressed, it looks like to me. He's not seeing the field the way he was at the end of last year. He's not, he's locked in on one guy most of the time, and that's Bryant Wesco, who, by the way, is a really good player, so I get it. But he's not trusting his offensive line, and I understand that because the offensive line they've actually played bad too. Now, part of that's because they've had 3 injuries, and that hasn't helped. So there's some, I understand why there's certain things happening. But it all starts with the quarterback. You got wide receivers who are not running the right routes or not running the routes crisp enough in their route trees. A lot of things that you didn't expect would happen from the offensive side of the ball have happened. And then also I question a little bit of Garrett Riley's play calling, to be honest with you. Now, that could be because, and to his defense, playing devil's advocate, it could be because the way the guys are playing is why he's calling plays that way. So, it kind of all goes hand in hand. The number one thing is they're definitely not playing up to their potential as an offense. It's showing that offense only averaging 19 points a game is ridiculous when you consider where they were last year with basically the same players. Now, Antonio Williams being out, he got hurt on the 5th play of the game against LSU, and so he basically missed the whole season so far. They're thinking he might be able to come back this week against Syracuse. If he is, then that's going to do wonders, I think, for the Clemson offense because they just don't seem like they are the same offense at all without him in there.
All right, let's go to the other side of the ball now. How do you feel about new defensive coordinator Tom Allen, the work that he's done, and I guess what stands out to you about the play of the defense so far?
Well, I think overall they've done a pretty good job. They've gotten better at stopping the run. They held Georgia Tech last week 120-something yards. 124 yards below their season average last week. And I know people made a lot of big deal about Haynes King and what he was able to do late in that game. But for the majority of that game, their running game didn't do anything against Clemson. And so you feel good there. I think the tackling is much improved. for Tom Allen, and they're making teams have to earn it. So you look at Clemson only giving up 19 points a game in the 3 games, and really 2 touchdowns are on the coaches for not getting a call in time that will set up the touchdown for Georgia Tech this past week, their first one. And then the week before against Troy, they had the wrong player on the field. And they had a linebacker trying to cover a wide receiver. That ain't never going to work right. So that's on the coaches. And so, so you look at it, and then the offense has given up 1 direct touchdown on a batted ball that was returned for an interception, and then they gave up the field goal this past week on the turnover. So overall, I think the defense has played well. However, with that said, the main problem they have is getting off the field. Right now, Clemson is very poor on 3rd down and on defense, and that's something they got to get better. They've only had 4 3-and-outs this entire season so far, so they got to get off the field. And I think that's one reason why the offense hasn't been able to get in any rhythm. It's because they're only getting like 57 plays, and that's because the defense has been getting off the field and getting the ball back in the hands of the offense.
We've talked a lot about on this show this week about the mindset going into this game for both these teams. Syracuse is a 17.5-point underdog. Are they going to have a chip on their shoulder? Clemson is obviously coming off the tough loss to Georgia Tech. They're 1-2. Are they going to have a hangover off that conference loss, or are they going to be laser focused? Like, let's get back on track. So from a Clemson perspective, how do you see them coming out in this game? Do you think it's going to be, their best performance of the season and they're going to look like the Clemson everybody was expecting? Or do you still have your doubts about, how good this team maybe is right now?
Oh, I still got my doubts. And by the way, if you're a betting person, I'd take Syracuse all day to cover that 17. 17.5, I believe, is the line.
Yeah.
I'd take Syracuse on that all day. Because Clemson hasn't showed me anything to go against that. I mean, offensively, as we just talked about their struggles, defensively they can't get off the field. So they're going to play a high-flying Syracuse offense. They're playing with a lot of confidence. They can move the football. I mean, they went up and down the field against Tennessee all day in that season opener. So they know what they can do offensively, and Clemson doesn't know what it can do offensively. And I think that is the concerning part. I do think Clemson's defense will get some stops and will do what they're supposed to do. But will the offense be able to get out of this funk that it's in? Until I see it, I'm not going to say they're going to, because I've seen 3 weeks now where they've started every game really slow and haven't got anything going. And it didn't matter if they were playing LSU or if they're playing Troy, they couldn't get going. And Georgia Tech was a game I thought last week. That's not a great Georgia Tech defense. There's advantages Clemson clearly had against them, and they didn't really take advantage of it early on. And it took them almost a half before they finally got going offensively. They can't do that this week, or they'll be down 3 touchdowns to Syracuse. So that's what I think is the number one concern for Clemson going into this week.
You talk about Syracuse. I'm curious to get your thoughts, from the outside looking in on Fran Brown, the job he's done here through a year and a half, and on this Syracuse team in general. Steve Angeli right now leading the country in passing yards. Now, I don't know that he's going to be able to keep that up necessarily, and they did just play an FCS opponent. But to your point, they've been able to move the ball. What else stands out to you about this Syracuse team from what you've seen?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, Coach Brown does a great job, and he gets a lot out of his guys, and you can see that, and he demands respect from them. Reminds me a lot of the guy Clemson just played in Brent Key down at Georgia Tech, right? I think the players play through the personality of their coach, which means they're going to come in here and play hard, and they're going to do everything they can to walk out of Death Valley with a win for the first time in their program's history, And so, look, Clemson's got to be ready to play in this game, because I think, that offense, as you mentioned with Angeli, is going to cause some problems. They're going to go up-tempo. They're going to be moving fast, probably the fastest offense Clemson's seen to this point. I think they're going to do what everybody else has done against Clemson, and that's really negate that defensive line by going with the short passing game and getting their players out in space and just taking what the defense gives them. So that's going to be a challenge. Now, can Clemson do some things on their defense, because they're not very good on defense? Syracuse isn't right now. Can Clemson take advantage of that? Well, they should, but they should have taken advantage of that against Troy, and they should have taken advantage of that against against Georgia Tech last week, and they haven't. So why am I going to believe all of a sudden Clemson's offense is going to find its way against Syracuse this week? I don't think that's going to happen. So I think it's going to be a really tough hard-fought football game. And I'll be honest with you guys, I think that Syracuse is going to pull the upset off. I really do.
Interesting you should say that. That was going to be my last question. I could tell that you're, concerned about Clemson in this matchup. So Will, give me your prediction. How do you think Saturday plays itself out?
Yeah, I think it's going to be just like what we just saw out of Clemson and Atlanta. It's going to be a tough game. I don't think Clemson's going to play well until I see it from an offensive standpoint. I think they're going to have their issues, it's a bunch of things, right? It's not just one thing. It's not just Cade Klubnik. It's not just the offensive line. It's not just the wide receivers. It's not just the play calling. It's all of those things. And it's hard to get that fixed, right? That's something that's going to take time to get fixed. And so I think it's going to be a close game. I think Clemson's defense, again, will play well. I think Syracuse offense is going to play well. But I think Syracuse is going to have just enough in their arsenal that they're going to come in here and steal one from Clemson. And I'm going to say Clemson's going to have its first 1-3 start to a season since 2004. I'm going to go Syracuse 27, Clemson 24.
Wow, how about that? And I said that earlier, Paulie. I said it could be first 1 to 27. I think that's the number. I think if Syracuse can get to 27 or 28, they might be able to hold Clemson below that. All right, Will, great insight. I know the SU fans listening certainly like your take on things. We appreciate you checking in, and hopefully we can talk again down the road.
All right, guys. We'll talk to you later. Thanks for having me.
All right, thanks for coming on. Will Vandervort, senior writer for Clemson Insider. And
Clemson fans always, in their reports, always think Clemson's going to lose.
I think there's a case to be made, and they've been watching it, right? And they see that offense is sputtering, and there's no sign that it's necessarily going to turn around. So I get the hesitation, for those covering this Clemson team.
But you can say all the same things about Syracuse. Oh, they beat a team that lost to Delaware in overtime.
Yeah,
it's like let it play out.
Let it play out. I happen to be on the YouTube website for our show. Milk Apples in the chat on YouTube says, and Jelly most yards from the Colgate game, yawn. He had, one more yard than he did the week before. He had one more yard against Colgate than he did against UConn. His numbers are impressive. Like you can try to downplay it all you want and say, I get that it's only 3 games. His numbers have been impressive. I mean, he threw almost 300 yards against Tennessee, went for over 400 against UConn, and then over 400 again against Colgate in essentially 3/4 of action.
And it all equaled out into 3 games.
Yeah.
Because they went overtime, and then he sat.
And then he sat. So he's, and oh, by the way, Kyle McCord last year had 2 more yards through 3 games than Steve Angeli has. So it's been impressive. His numbers have been impressive. I know he's had his fair share of ups and downs. He's had some bad throws. He's working his way through it.
He's also getting creamed.
Yeah, and I think that I know we're going to do our keys to the game later. If we don't have time today, we'll get to it tomorrow.
Don't get creamed.
They've got to protect him. They've got to give him time to throw because he's shown when he does have time to throw, he can be pretty effective, but he can't be effective if he's laying on his back. 315-437-7644. We'll take a timeout here. We're back after this on ESPN Radio.
It's freezing in this room. Yeah, Steve.
So
I just found this new site, YouTube.
You weren't here yesterday. So on Friday, I had somebody come up to me in the quad before the game and say, hey, I live in Vegas. I come to all the home games. I listen all the time on the YouTube app, but you guys don't really pay much attention to us. And he's right. So I said I would tell you.
They don't chat very much. Like
I know.
Stephen McQueen just dropped, I think.
But if we pay attention, if we pay attention more, then
my
maybe
chat has everything.
Okay, but I don't have that fancy split screen situation, so I'm checking in on YouTube now and then. Now that's all.
Stephen McQuaid just said something. Hi, Stephen on YouTube. Don't accuse me of neglecting the audience.
I'm not accusing you of anything. Goodness gracious! I'm just saying let's give a little love to our YouTube followers. That's all.
Do. You're not better than me, Steve.
I'm not saying I'm better than you.
You just accuse me of neglecting YouTube, and I don't.
How often do you chat with the people in YouTube?
Whenever they say something, Steve, the little YouTube Rebecca Lobo has to show up.
I asked him the same question. I was like, "You live in Vegas and you fly here for every game?" And he said, "Yes." There's a direct flight. It's like $150, and he flies back and forth.
I ran into a guy from Virginia who comes up for every freaking home game at the game in Atlanta.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, it's great. It's not crazy. It's great.
Stephen McQuaid. Hi again, YouTube. How are you?
Listen, you take everything and you make it like a negative. Like I'm trying to do something positive, right? See, look at all these people chiming in now because we're paying attention to them.
JV Wonder, how are you? $3, 3 days, $100 biz.
I agree with you, JV Wonder.
Oregon Q's. Brian Higgins is the only host that paid attention to YouTube.
Oregon Q's, we're going to change that.
It's not true. It shows up in my chat just like everything else. Good. It's the first time these dopes have said anything. No, they're not
dopes. They've been silent. They've been silent for too long.
I can't talk to them if they're silent.
I'm going to give them a voice. Rise up, YouTube. We see you and we hear you. Just letting you know.
He flies himself he tapes feathers to his back. The hell does Drew want? Stephen McQuaid's usually on Twitch. See?
Okay. This doesn't have to be a fight. I just want to make sure everybody feels included in our show. That's all.
He is. They're not. They don't. They literally don't say anything.
Okay.
I get the little.
Well, I'm going to pay more attention to YouTube.
Good for you. Look at you.
Why is this a thing?
Because I don't like to be falsely accused.
I'm not falsely accusing you of anything. You frustrate me sometimes.
Good. You frustrate me with
Thank you, Oregon Q's, for tuning in to WSYR Plus. We're trying to get that thing off the ground. I think once it kind of gets off the ground and people start to know about it, I think it'll be a good thing.
Says, thanks, Steve. From YouTube. Where do these people come from? It's the first time I've seen the logo.
Because I think they feel like we don't pay attention to them, and so they don't speak because they're they're not going to.
It's impossible for me not.
But I'm saying,
Steve, listen to me. It's impossible for me not to see them. Okay? There's literally been more YouTube.
Okay. So I'm going to put this on me. I will be honest. I never logged on to YouTube once.
I don't have to log on to YouTube.
Until the gentleman in the quad talked to me. I didn't even realize there was a chat section in the YouTube, okay? So that's on me. I'm going to try to pay more attention to it.
Here's that sizzle we were missing this week. Yeah, you're damn right.
We're fighting about something that doesn't need to be fought about.
Yeah, you accused me of...
I didn't accuse you of anything.
Wonder, how are you, buddy?
Goodness gracious.
We only read the YouTube chat literally doesn't show up. Dude, all of a sudden it just started.
Prove Paulie wrong.
I feel like I've been set up.
Keep commenting, guys. Prove Paulie wrong.
Steve and I are fighting in the chat, but this song.
I was just going to say, I do like this song.
This is a banger. No one is to blame. This is a great song.
Tim's probably never even heard this song.
I have not.
This is a certain generational thing.
You can put your foot in the water, but you just can't swim. You can feel the punishment, but you can't commit the sin. Some deep lyrics.
I have heard of the Jonas Brothers, by the way. Who we voted on.
This song does have some deep lyrics.
The evil dictator took over.
Yeah, I don't know. And he was like, he came up with somebody who wasn't even on our list,
yeah.
Tim. So.
Yeah, where did you find your name?
I just looked up This Day in Music History. Well, it's the same website that you're usually on.
I think you looked up This Day in Fake News.
I think it was like Nick Jonas's birthday or one of the Jonas Brothers' birthday.
That's legit. Yeah. It should have shown up on your website as well. Drew in Syracuse up next. Hey, Drew.
Hey, guys. What's going on?
How are you?
Thank you for taking my call.
Of course.
Anytime.
Ollie, as always, it was a peaceful day yesterday. Poor Steve didn't have to endure your abuse. I know, Paulie, but all I want to say is what I kind of said yesterday. I think the big thing about the Clemson game is going to be the offensive line holding up. Like, can they protect Steve Angeli? Because I believe Steve is a good quarterback, but he needs time. Like, he's not a runner like Ricky, and he's not a scrambler, but he just needs time. But thank you, and I'll listen to your comments off there.
All right, Drew, appreciate checking in. I think the play of the offensive line is going to be an enormous factor in this game, and I think we all agree on that if they give Steve Angeli time to throw, I think they're going to be able to move the ball. I think they're going to be able to score points, and Clemson has had a hard time scoring points. Again, I'll say it once again. I think 27, 28 points might be enough in this game. I think Syracuse is capable of getting to 27, 28, 30 points, 31. If they can do that, I think they've got a really good shot. So I'm with Drew. I think we're all kind of in agreement that if the SU offensive line performs well against that really, really good Clemson D-line and front seven, I think that they've got a shot to win this game.
It's getting gassy in here.
Time for today's business.
Correct. Brought to you by
Superior Plus Propane.
See, you get my joke now, Steve?
I did. Yeah. It took me a half a second.
Did you miss that crack humor?
I missed it so much. Yes. So glad to have you back.
Gassy crack humor.
Yep.
Good, Steve, I'm on fire.
I did miss it a little, I'll admit. Even though I say I don't miss it, it's good to see you, Paulie.
Thanks. You too, Tim. Keep up the good work.
All right. Let's talk a little bit about college football on a national scale, just because we've mentioned it from an ACC lens a lot today on the show. We've talked about how there's been some unpredictable stuff to this point. Clemson, we thought, was going to be the ACC frontrunner. Here they are, 1-2 on the season. I would say through 3 weeks of the season, this is about as wide open as I can remember a college football season from a national championship perspective and who are the Heisman favorites, just because we went into the season, we thought Cade Klubnik and Arch Manning were going to be the Heisman favorites, and I saw today CBS Sports ranked the top 50 quarterbacks in the country, and I'm not saying this is the best list ever, but Steve Angeli was on that list at number 40. He was unranked before that, and Cade Klubnik, who was number 1 on a lot of those lists of quarterback rankings at the start of the season, was not inside the top 50, nor was Arch Manning. I don't know how much you guys have seen the clips of Arch Manning passing, but he looks like he's dealing with a confidence issue for sure. So what do you make of where we are 3 weeks into the college football season, and Ohio State's the odds-on favorite right now, but they're plus 600. It's really just sort of throw your hands up at picking a national champion.
It does seem wide open. I am surprised with both Klubnik and Manning because I think we had a guest on and he asked us, right? I forget who that was, but we asked him about who he thought was going to win the Heisman, and then he said Klubnik, and he said,
"Oh, Ty Hildenbrand,
is that
right?"
Who it was?
Yeah.
And he said, "Who do you guys think?" And I said, "Well, Arch Manning I know is one of the favorites, but I think it might be Cade Klubnik." And both of those guys have fallen, way down the list. So, yeah, it's surprising, and it does feel really wide open right now. It feels like that there is a lot of parity. You've got the odds here of the national championship odds. A team like Miami, you could get really good value. And I know everybody says, well, sooner or later they're gonna lose a game that they shouldn't. I don't know. Maybe they will, but they look really, really good.
You know who else does, Steve?
Yeah.
And I think we're going to see a potential game that could, it's weird that Oregon's in the Big Ten now, but I think Oregon's really good. And with them playing Penn State, if they win that game, I think they're going to be odds-on favorites to win.
Yeah,
because that's a couple weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, Penn State is
they
obviously
got Oregon
right up there
State
as well.
this week. And
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, even the Heisman right now, John Mateer, who Syracuse fans might remember that name because he was the Washington State quarterback that didn't play in the bowl game, and now he's at Oklahoma. He's the odds-on favorite, along with Carson Beck, who Syracuse will see later on in the season for Miami. They're at plus 850 right now, and Cade Klubnik has really dropped off, obviously. Arch Manning's nowhere to be found on that list, so it's a fascinating start to the season for sure. I tend to agree with you, Paulie. I feel like Oregon is good. I feel like Penn State's good, but they haven't really played anyone. So it wouldn't shock me if they're not quite as good as we think, too.
I tell you what, if you think Miami's going to run the table in the regular season, which I think they're going to, you'd be hard-pressed not to put a little money on Carson Beck, right? I mean, if they go undefeated.
Miami's plus 290 to go undefeated.
Yeah, plus 1,800 to win it all for
That's
Miami.
What I'm saying.
I view that more as put money on it, and if they have a very good shot of just being in the conversation, and you could maybe
cash
hedge
out
your
or
bet
whatever.
or
Yeah,
whatever.
right.
Yeah, because I'm with you, and I think Paulie brought it up earlier. We always have faith in Miami this time of year. It's Mario Cristobal. They've lost some big games, and we saw it last year with Syracuse. I mean, they haven't even won an ACC championship ever. So even though their program always has talent and they always get hype, I feel like we have to have our guard up with them. At the same time, their schedule is pretty easy. They're in the ACC. I think they're definitely a college football playoff team. They're definitely going to be one of the 12 teams.
I really think so. And they've got, their toughest game is at Florida State, and they get the extra week to prepare. They've got their bye week before it. They're going to be fully prepared for that game. I think they're better. I mean, Florida State's off to a good start, but Miami has looked dominant. And then after that, it's Louisville, Stanford, SMU, Syracuse, NC State, Virginia Tech, Pittsburgh. One
of their tougher games is honestly this week. It doesn't really matter for the ACC, but playing Florida, I mean, Florida's still talented. So that's a big game for the ACC. You don't want your top ACC team to lose to a Florida team in the SEC that looks like they are very underwhelming and their coach is going to be fired soon.
Yeah. No, I would agree. It's that is a big game for the ACC. Obviously, Florida State's already pulled off a big win for the conference, but the big wins for the conference have been kind of few and far between so far.
The conference is hoping for an FSU Miami title game.
Well, they play each other in the regular season, so I don't know that they're going to get that. I think there's a chance you're going to have two undefeateds.
Yeah,
I think
they want Florida State and Miami.
I do think Miami, Georgia Tech is a strong possibility. Well, yeah, of course, you want your better teams. Yeah, you want your better teams to be in position.
Wise, you want Syracuse for a local. You want Syracuse to win the conference. It really wants Clemson to run the table. They want Florida
I'll tell you what the conference doesn't want, and someone in the chat brought this up, and I've seen it out there. Cal's schedule is even easier than Georgia Tech, and you just don't want what happened with SMU last year to happen again, where it's a team that makes the ACC championship game. And SMU is a good team, but their schedule was really easy, and they made the ACC championship game. They didn't look great in the title game. They still made the playoff, and they got worked in the playoff. And that's not good for the league if it's not your best team or your best two teams making the college football playoff.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting how this whole thing shakes out, but you're right. I mean, Cal, I have a hard time believing that Cal's going to be able to run the table.
Well, they have to travel too, so that even if their schedule looks, I mean, some of these road trips just have to weigh on you.
They're brutal. Yeah, I mean, yes, that's difficult. That's part of the problem with a team like Cal or Stanford joining the conference. But just to go through their rattle off their schedule: BC, Duke, North Carolina, Virginia Tech, Virginia. I think at Louisville is going to be a tough one for Cal, Stanford, and then SMU to close things out. So I'd be surprised if Cal ran the table, but I do think you could see. I would predict Miami, Georgia Tech right now, because given Georgia Tech's schedule.
Dateline Seattle.
Yeah.
Steve, you remember how you were dive bombed by
Seagulls? Yes. Of course, can never forget.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
Seattle Parks and Recreation Department is warning of owls dive bombing people. And they can mess you up. They're saying carry an umbrella. This is the exact, they say to be alert at night or early morning if you hear hooting. If you hear hooting, cover your head and move calmly. Carry an umbrella for protection. And if an owl swoops you, wave your arms and leave the area right away.
What would make an owl dive bomb? Just protection, like they're protecting their territory?
I don't want to find out.
Yeah.
I'm just, if you hear hooting,
I don't know that I would be able to remain calm in that situation. Yeah. Remain calm.
Like there's a famous murder mystery, like a cold case, where they think like one of the suspects is an owl attacked the person and they fell down the stairs.
Owls dive bomb people primarily to defend their nests and their young during the breeding season, as they perceive humans as a threat to their territory or young. So that makes sense. And that was the seagull situation too.
I tend to hoot during my breeding season too, Steve.
All right, we're back after this on ESPN Radio. To YouTube. Hey, Phil.
Oh, nice. The YouTube chat. Yeah. Wow, it really is popping off in here.
Popping off. Look at this.
Look at that.
We're proving you wrong. I love when people prove you wrong.
YouTube, what?
I do. I think we could be better about looking at the YouTube chat.
Look, will you look at my chat? It literally has.
I know. I do the same thing, but
I
don't know.
say anything.
Well, maybe Steve's right. Maybe we need to knock on their door a little more.
I think they're being dramatic.
I think that they've been saying stuff here and there. We don't respond, and they were just like, we don't have a voice. And I want to remind you that you do have a voice in the YouTube chat.
They want, and I see it.
All right. Well, let's see if this changes things. Now that we're starting to pay attention, we're paying attention now.
I was always paying.
I don't know that you were.
I could not.
Okay.
I could not
pay attention. Okay, it's grammatically incorrect, but okay. Ryan Mullen in the YouTube chat.
Wow. I think they're just messing with you now. What?
I don't care. People can mess with me.
To silence us. Come here and look.
I believe you.
Like, see, it's 1 to a billion.
Yeah, I believe you. But that's not the case on my computer.
Well, yeah, then do not.
I didn't
lump me in with your.
Okay, it's on me then.
Your ignoring.
It's
of
on
the
me.
Chat.
It's on me.
Thank you. Enjoy T-Takes on Twitch, not on YouTube.
Oh, so you can tell who's who?
I've been telling you that for an hour. Look, YouTube. All the rest is Twitch. I don't ignore anybody.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Is there a way for me to get that same?
I don't know. Tim installed
set up
this for me.
All right. Okay. Fair enough.
Are you high?
Am I high?
Yeah, I don't know.
Who said that?
Wasabi Dude in Twitch.
I'm working on about 3.5 hours of sleep, so that's what.
Dan North, dang straight from YouTube.
No, Philly never tried it.
That's why I
never smoked weed even once.
I got freaking.
I know that's shocking, but I've never tried it. We've talked about this on the show. I've never smoked a cigarette. I've never smoked a joint.
I sold my Adam Sandler tickets because they got dumped. JV Wonder, YouTube. I bought them for a chick and she dumped them.
Oh, you bought them like a while ago? So that makes me bland because I've never smoked anything? All right.
I quit.
So be it. I'm fine with that.
I quit smoking weed because I got.
Never smoked a cigar. I've never smoked anything.
Do I know what a hammer? I'm scared to say that. You know what a hammer spank is, Steve?
I don't.
I did that to myself last night. Gave myself the old hammer spank. That's what I could think of. Have you ever tried dip?
I have not.
I tried dip at a Little League game and threw up in the outfield. You know how they have angels in the outfield? I was the puker in the outfield.
I remember you telling me that.
Have you inhaled campfire smoke eggs?
That's funny.
I eat white rabbits. I've smoked meat.
Dan North in the YouTube chat. What's up, Dan?
Bill Larmer, Steve, I'm with you. I've never smoked anything either. YouTube chat is popping off.
Are we really doing? Are we really doing keys of the game?
No, we don't have enough time.
Because you're here tomorrow, right? Yeah.
Can't waste such a brilliant segment. Guess who's back on the board? That would be me. Got to do a quick segment here, Steve. Just want to remind everybody, watch party, Shaughnessy's, Geo Heater, and Mike McAllister. If you love Mike McAllister ripping the refs, you're going to love him live ripping
especially
the refs.
For a Clemson game.
If you follow him on Twitter for him to rip the refs, you can see his mug do it while he's watching the game at Shaughnessy's. 9 a.m. doors open, I believe. 10 a.m. pregame. Straight through postgame. You can call in and celebrate the victory with Giovanni Heater. Sorry, he's professional when he's doing that. It's going to be a fun day, Steve. Where are you watching the game? Are you going to go to Shaughnessy's and watch with those guys?
I haven't really thought about it. It's today's Wednesday. Maybe I will. We'll see.
Would you? Let me ask you this: we have to do one for SMU, and I was planning on doing it. Would you want to watch the SMU game with me?
Before I commit to it, I will. I would like to. Let me make sure that
you
I
and
can
I
do
have
that.
some wings, of course.
What's the date of that game?
Mild for you.
Well, yes. Thank you.
We'll get mild wings.
Why do you say that like it's a problem? Like,
well, I don't want to hurt you. Maybe a little salt and pepper wings. Woo, spicy. Yeah. Get after it.
October 4th. Okay. Yeah, quite possibly. Let's see what time the game is. We don't have a game time yet.
Maybe we don't even have to do the watch party. We'll just go sit out there. But
I've been wanting to do something with you, so this would be an excuse for us to get together.
Have some water and some bland wings.
We can talk keys to the game.
You're so defensive. That's right.
I'm defensive.
The chat thinks you're defensive.
I'm defensive.
Because when I attack you, you defend yourself. You act like it's not true. Like if I ordered hot wings, you would just probably sit at the table and go, "Oh."
No, I didn't say it wasn't true. I said, why do you act like that's like a bad thing that I like mild? Like, why does that matter?
I didn't say it was a bad thing. It's just you.
You're like, we'll get mild for you. Like make it sound like it's a bad thing.
Boiled wings. The chat is popping off today. That's funny. Steve boils his bacon. Like in Better Off Dead.
Garlic parm wings. Those are Satchel Sack's right. Those sound good. I would do that. Garlic parm.
All right. Yeah. Well, come on out to Shaughnessy's this weekend. I won't be there. I'll be in Clemson. They have very good pretzel bites.
They do.
Yeah.
Yes.
We used to do
the Adrian Autry show there.
Yeah, not the mustard sauce, right? You too spicy, right? You wouldn't.
No, I like mustard. I like mustard. It's the one condiment that I like, honey mustard or like the spicy. I'm okay with that. I do like mustard.
Look out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whoa. Steve.
Yeah.
It came up in the chat really quick that you've never smoked like a cigarette or anything in your life.
Never.
That's crazy to me.
No, we've talked about that on the show before. Why does that surprise you?
I know. No, it does. It doesn't surprise me. It just seems like you would have been at like a high school party and someone gave you a Marb Red.
Yeah. No, I've been offered it many a time. I never have. Never smoked.
Let me see what
cigar,
this is all
cigarette,
about.
Nothing. Yeah.
Never did dip?
Nope.
You know what I've noticed? This is kind of gross, but when you go to the men's rooms now, I've never had one, but these Zins are all over.
It's very
the bathroom.
popular. I know many people who use them. Yes.
Do you?
Yeah.
I must not be hanging out with the cool kids like you are.
Yeah.
Is it It's just nicotine, right?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's very popular.
Yeah, I used to smoke cigarettes. We used to my friend once told me that we could get high by smoking dried banana peels, and we smoked it.
How did it go?
We did not get high, but we tried everything. You were always looking for that next high.
Were you?
Yeah, apparently that's what we did in the suburbs. Yeah, it's wild.
All right. Yeah, I don't know. I just
like the troughs at the door are just filled to the brim with Zins now.
Yeah.
Throw them in the trash, you scumbags.
Never had the desire.
That's me. That's my public. Just throw them in the trash. Wasabi Dude just brought up something. I got a story for you. I have a scar on my face from doing one of the things that someone in the chat said. I'll tell that during the break. Get on Q Sports Talk right now, and we'll vote on the artist of the day when we get back.
All right. We'll wrap things up next on ESPN Radio.
How many people you know doing Zins?
I know a lot. I'm not going to name names over Twitch, but yeah.
We smoked oregano. We tried it all. So, I used to work at Friendly's, so I was able to get whippets very easily. And I did one, and I fell face first through a glass coffee table. Smashed my friend's glass coffee table. Got a cut near my. I missed my eye by like a millimeter. You see that scar on my eye? Yeah. The only way I could describe the whippet was everything went black and a helicopter was landing right next to me. That's what it sounded like, and I fell right through the table. Champ Ron snorted beverage. How stupid were we as kids?
See, I never did that. I don't know.
Oh my God.
I don't feel like I missed out.
We smoked half the spice cabinet. My buddy snorted a dip, like the fun dip once, and oh my God, he was crying because his nose was burning. Have you ever shotgunned a beer?
Yeah, somebody asked in here if I had had a hangover. I think yes, I've had hangovers before. Yeah, I definitely drank, not like excessively, but yeah,
I'm on as a kid at lunch. I was there $5 to snort salt, and holy crap, did that burn! Have you done a keg stand?
Hang on, sorry, I'm dealing with something real quick.
I told you guys I funneled a martini on spring break at Daytona and barfed in the pool. I was fun, man. I was the most hated guy on spring break. Tried to funnel a whole martini. Kevin from Liverpool just coming out with the hard stuff. I've never done that. I've never done anything. Weed is about my limit, and I got super paranoid. Didn't you hit on your friend's mom, Phil Tarner? See, this is why I don't acknowledge the YouTube chat. Did I hit on my friend's mother? I don't remember ever hitting on any of my friends' mothers. The YouTube chat is wilding out. What is things that didn't happen? I don't think I ever hit on my friend's mom. I don't know. Like, when I was growing up, moms weren't hot. Like, none of my friends' moms were hot. They were just moms. Like, you didn't hit on. You didn't hit on her.
Good time. I was going to say, good time to walk in, Tim.
Right? Like, I feel like 80s moms weren't hot. They were just moms. No, definitely not. I'm ill prepared for this.
So Tim asked me yesterday, as the show was winding down, how did I do today on the board? And I said, well, if this were Paulie, we have to have at least one bump back where the wrong bump back plays, then there's silence,
Steve,
and then the song plays. And you executed that perfectly twice.
Do you know why I do that? It's because I'm interacting with our fans and our listeners.
You could stop 5 seconds earlier, though, and just be prepared to come back from break.
I'm a man of the people.
Are you interacting with YouTube, though? That's the real question.
He is now. He is now. Thanks to me.
What is love?
I did play the same bump back-to-back times, yesterday.
That did happen. That's okay.
Yeah, that's it. That'll happen. I don't judge. We all make mistakes. It's not like
Thank you, Paulie.
We're not saving lives. It's just playing music.
You just have a certain way of playing that music that I missed yesterday. I missed all of the bump backs being played properly as we came back from commercial. Seamless transitions. I missed like the herky-jerky nature of when you run the board.
You are a big fan of the old herky-jerky stuff, Steve. If I had to guess one person on the face of the earth that would say the term herky-jerky, Stephen Fonte would be. You probably bust herky-jerky out at least 3 times a day. Get a load of this guy.
He's deflecting. He's deflecting.
No. You're barking up the wrong tree, mister. Things Steve says to his son.
Only 2 days with him this week, Steve.
Only
Think about
2.
that.
That's true. Just
got
tomorrow.
Mario
Hey,
Friday.
none of that herky-jerky stuff, mister.
That was pretty funny.
Can we do our Artist of the Day choices, please?
But I got to open it up. I'm not ready. I'm ill-prepared. I'm still rusty from my sickness. I was sick. I don't know if you know this. I don't just recover like you. Jimi Hendrix.
It's a good one.
Kiss. Jimi Hendrix. Let me write these down. Kiss. Jimi Hendrix. I didn't even write his name. I just scribbled something. Britney Spears. Dashboard Conventionals. I don't know that. And Papa Roach. That's enough. Papa Roach. Kiss. Jimi Hendrix, Britney Spears, and how about the Eurythmics? The Eurythmics also. I like the Eurythmics. I'm going to vote them.
I'll go Jimi Hendrix.
Man, I'm going to go Britney, and we'll let the chat decide.
All right, next one under Florida guy.
We should let the YouTube chat decide today.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah, they are going to.
Because they're all in one on Paulie's screen.
Yeah. Steve says hanky panky according to the chat. Whoopee.
Are we still waiting for
Yes,
a...
we're waiting.
Yes,
we're
somebody
waiting.
Please
get us out of here, please.
Please give us a choice. Please give us an Artist of the Day.
What if they just froze up?
They probably
somebody
did.
vote Britney Spears, the Eurythmics, or Jimi Hendrix. The love of God.
We could just surprise... We'll just...
Jen B says the Eurythmics.
Okay. I was going to say, we could just surprise everybody tomorrow.
Everybody else is voting Papa Roach.
All right. With that, we're out of time. Anything you want to mention, Tim, going into
we got
show at 5?
Chris Brown is going to join us at 5:15, talk some
Nice.
Bills.
Good get.
And, good get. And
Every
then,
week.
Yes, he's a weekly guest, play-by-play man for the Bills. They play tomorrow night, remember?
I do remember.
Yes, I know you remember. I was talking to the general audience.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
YouTube chat needed to know.
Got the Dolphins tomorrow night. Going to do my ACC power rankings. A couple other fun things. Phone lines will be open, so join us 5 to 6 p.m.
Excellent.
Don't forget about the watch party. Shaughnessy's Labatt, Saturday. Be there.
Be square.
Support your local radio.
Okay.
Or I have to fire Steve. If we don't have more than 25 people there, I've been told I have to fire Steve.
No one's going to show up.
I'm definitely not going to show up.
On the air Monday, I have to fire Steve. We're going to have, those little clickers that they count the kids get on the buses? We're going to have one of those.
All right.
Gio's going to report back to me.
Okay. Sounds like a deal. We got to go. For Paulie, for Tim, I'm Steve. Enjoy the rest of the day, everybody.
Steve's
we'll talk to you
job
tomorrow.
is depending on it.